Welcome to the deep dive. If you work in business, you rely on data, customer lists, inventory, sales figures, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And you probably assume that data is, reasonably sound.
Most people do.
Well, today we are deep diving into a stack of sources that suggests that assumption might be wildly optimistic.
Wildly optimistic and, frankly, financially devastating.
Devastating how?
It's like this hidden tax on every single business. And it's astronomical. We're not talking small cleanup costs here.
Okay.
No, citing the Monte Carlo data quality survey, poor data quality costs businesses an average of 31% of their revenue.
Wait, say that again? 31%?
51%.
Of revenue.
That's not a footnote. That sounds more like a corporate crisis hiding in plain sight.
It absolutely is. And, if you think that number is shocking,
Yeah.
it was only 26% the year before.
Wow. So it's getting worse.
It's clearly a worsening problem,
Yeah.
a rapidly rising hidden tax that businesses are, effectively choosing to pay.
Why choosing? Because the cost is so spread out, It rarely gets added up under one single line item.
Right. That's the core frustration, isn't it?
Yeah.
If the CFO saw a bill that just said, bad data fee, 31% of revenue.
They'd shut down the whole department, probably.
Exactly. But because it's buried in wasted hours and lost customers and bad decisions.
It just slides by unnoticed.
Okay, so before we really unpack those costs, let's just quickly set the baseline. Because even the fanciest analytics, the best AI,
Yeah.
it's all useless if the foundation is rotten, right?
Completely useless.
Mhm.
Garbage in, garbage out, as they say. And that foundation needs really three basic things to hold up.
Okay, what are they?
Your data needs to be accurate, just free from errors, typos, the simple stuff.
Makes sense.
It has to be consistent. So the same customer looks the same everywhere, CRM, ERP, accounting.
Got it. No variations.
And critically, it must be complete. You need all the required records there for any meaningful analysis.
Okay. Accurate, consistent, complete, if any of those fail.
Your insights are compromised. Simple as that.
So when those basics do fail, what's the immediate damage? We know the big number, 31% overall, but how does that actually show up day to day?
Well, quantitatively, organizations figure they lose over $5 million a year, just from poor data quality incidents.
5 million, just like that.
Yep. But the damage, honestly, goes way beyond the ledger, operationally. You see big drops in customer satisfaction.
Which it hits retention, obviously.
Right. And you see higher running costs because people are constantly fixing things, doing rework.
And I bet it affects the teams, too.
Oh, absolutely. Lower employee job satisfaction because, staff are spending their days cleaning data instead of doing the valuable work they were hired for.
Yeah, that's got to be demoralizing. If your job title is data scientist, but you spend half your time fixing zip code.
Or merging duplicates, yeah. You're going to start looking elsewhere.
So why does this keep happening? Why do companies keep paying this 31% tax?
Well, one expert, Anthony Dayton, points out that sure, people have access to data, but the data itself, and therefore the insights they get from it, are often just fundamentally wrong.
Okay, so the data's bad.
Yeah.
But why is it bad?
Jennifer Jackson identifies the main culprit. It's fragmentation. Specifically, fragmentation caused by technological tool accumulation.
Technological tool accumulation. That sounds technical.
It kind of is, but it's basically just digital hoarding.
Digital hoarding. Okay, explain that.
Enterprises just keep layering shiny new data systems on top of really old legacy systems.
Instead of actually retiring the old ones.
Exactly. They just bolt on the new tool, and every time they do that, they create another potential point of failure, another place for data to get stuck or corrupted.
So it's not just about old spreadsheets lurking around. It's the whole infrastructure is like an archaeological dig.
That's a great way to put it. Every layer is some decision from 10 years ago that's still messing things up today.
And this layering leads to?
Directly to data silos. That's
Yeah.
the main roadblock. Information just gets trapped.
So sales has one view of the customer.
Marketing has another. Shipping has a third.
Yeah.
And you get this massive duplication of effort.
Conflicting reports going to management.
Delayed decisions, endless arguments about whose numbers are right. No one agrees on the source of truth.
Okay, so the problem is everywhere it's expensive, costing 31% of revenue. The immediate reaction is, okay, we need 100% perfect data.
That's the gut reaction, yeah. Aim for perfection.
But the sources we looked at argue that's actually financially fully.
It really is. Chasing perfection, while it sounds good, it's just not expedient from a cost perspective.
Why not?
Well, think about it. To get that last 0.5% of errors fixed, you might spend, say, 50% of your entire maintenance budget.
Diminishing returns.
Exactly. Massive diminishing returns.
Yeah.
The strategic sweet spot isn't 100%. It's what the research calls the optimal data maintenance effort.
Okay, optimal data maintenance effort. What does that mean?
It's basically the point where the total cost of data, that's the cost to maintain it, plus the cost inflicted by the errors that still exist, is at its absolute minimum.
All right, so it's a balancing act. You mentioned
Correct.
two cost curves need balancing.
Two different curves you have to understand.
Lay them out for us.
Okay, the first one's pretty straightforward. The costs of assuring data quality.
The money you spend cleaning things up.
Yep. Staff time, software fees, training, consultants, all that. It's basically linear. The more you spend cleaning, the higher this cost goes.
Okay, spend more, get cleaner data, cost goes up. Simple.
Simple supply side, yeah. Now the second curve, this is the crucial one.
Which is?
The costs inflicted by poor quality data.
Okay, the damage costs.
Right. And this curve starts super high when your data is a total mess. But here's the key. It decreases exponentially at first as you start cleaning.
Exponentially. Why so fast at the beginning?
Because you tackle the big, obvious problems first, right? The Pareto principle. You fix the errors that are causing, $100,000 shipping mistakes every month.
Or stopping the production line.
Exactly. Fixing those huge glaring problems gives you massive savings right away. You get the biggest bang for your buck with that initial effort.
Okay, so fixing the process that ships TVs to the wrong state, big, immediate win.
Huge win. But once those massive errors are gone,
The returns start shrinking.
they drop off sharply.
Yeah.
The cost savings you get for each hour spent cleaning becomes much, much smaller.
Got it. So where do these two curves meet?
The optimal data maintenance effort is right where the total cost adding both curves together hits its lowest point.
Okay.
If you keep cleaning past that optimal point,
Then the cost of cleaning outweighs the savings.
precisely, the cost of the staff and software hunting down those tiny last errors starts to exceed the actual cost of the damage those errors were causing.
So if fixing the last 0.1% of errors costs, say, $50,000 a month, but those errors only actually cause maybe $5,000 worth of problems.
You're wasting $45,000. It turns data cleansing from a smart investment into, well, an inexpedient luxury.
Okay, so the lesson is, be good enough to minimize your total cost burden.
Not perfect enough to win a gold star from the data science team. It's about economic optimization.
Okay, so finding that optimal balance point means you have to understand the actual damage bad data is causing.
Absolutely. If you don't know the full inflicted cost, how can you possibly know when to stop cleaning?
And most companies, I guess, see the obvious direct costs, but they miss the sneaky ones, the strategic problem.
That's exactly right. And that's where the sources give us a really helpful framework. It's a kind of 4-category matrix.
Be based on two distinctions.
2 essential dichotomies, yeah, to help businesses really measure the true costs.
Okay, let's take the first pair.
First, you separate direct costs from hidden costs.
Direct seems easy enough.
Yeah, direct costs are things you can easily spot. A manufacturing mistake, sending a delivery to the wrong place, maybe a fine for non-compliance.
Stuff you can put a number on immediately.
Right. But hidden costs, these are far more insidious. Management incurs them, but they often don't even realize the source is bad data.
They've just become normalized, part of the cost of doing business.
Exactly. Normalized inefficiencies.
Okay, that's direct versus hidden. What's the second split?
The second dichotomy divides the impact by time frame. Operational versus strategic consequences.
Operational meaning.
Short-term, day-to-day running of the business, think order processing, customer service calls, shipping logistics, that sort of thing.
And strategic.
That's the long-term decision-making. Where should we focus the business? What's our pricing policy? What new products should we develop? Big picture stuff.
Got it. Okay, thinking about that 31% hidden tax, the hidden side of this matrix feels most important.
Definitely where a lot of the damage lies undetected.
So let's start with hidden operational. Can you give us a really clear example?
Sure. A classic hidden operational cost is just sheer duplicative manual work.
Right.
Like the time employees waste reconciling 2 different systems that should talk to each other, or manually correcting addresses over and over.
Right.
That case study we looked at, it showed one company was basically paying 2 full-time salaries for people whose only job was manually updating competitor price lists, information that absolutely should have been integrated and updated automatically.
Wow, that's a huge payroll drag.
Huge. And management probably just saw it as, necessary admin work, not a data quality failure.
So they knew they were paying the salaries, but they didn't connect it back to the fragmented data causing the need for that manual work.
Precisely. Okay. Then you have maybe the most dangerous quadrant.
Which is?
Hidden strategic costs. This is where bad data leads management to make poor long-term decisions that can really undermine the company's future.
Okay, this sounds serious. What kind of big decisions get poisoned by bad data here?
The biggest one is probably miscalculating profitability and therefore resource allocation.
How's that happen?
Well, if your underlying cost data is fragmented or just wrong, you might allocate your fixed costs incorrectly across products or customers. Meaning management might think product A is their star performer, pouring R&D money into it, when actually hidden in the bad data, it's product B that's generating the real margin. You end up unknowingly sinking resources into losers and ignoring your actual growth engines.
That's profound. Making strategic bets based on faulty intelligence.
It's incredibly risky. And the quantification we saw in the sources for that specific hidden strategic bucket was staggering.
What did it say?
One company estimated that these hidden strategic costs, specifically from wrong cost allocation and not truly knowing customer profitability, were adding up to 5 to 7% of their total fixed costs.
5 to 7%.
Just from that.
Just from that. An absolutely unacceptable liability that had just been normalized for years. So fixing this isn't just about saving a bit of money on operations.
It's about making sure your entire business strategy isn't built on a foundation of lies.
Exactly. It's fundamental.
Okay, so we've identified the staggering cost. We understand the optimal trade-off point isn't perfection. So now, what does the actual path to getting trustworthy data look like? It sounds like it needs more than just, a spring cleaning. Oh, much more. It really demands an architectural rethink.
So where do you start?
Well, experts like Anthony Dayton and Jennifer Jackson highlight 3 key areas, and you have to start with the root cause we talked about, fragmentation.
Right, the digital hoarding.
So step 1 is prioritize unification. You have to consolidate systems where possible. You have to deduplicate records across all departments. And you need to actively use modern tools, including AI-assisted ones, to really unify those data sets.
Okay, unify. Get one version of the truth.
Because fragmentation just destroys trust. If sales and marketing can't agree on basic customer numbers, you have 0 trusted data.
Unification sounds great on a PowerPoint slide.
Sure. Doesn't it always?
But in reality, isn't that an IT nightmare?
Yeah.
If you try and centralize everything, don't you risk just creating one giant, messy, central silo instead of lots of small ones?
Yeah.
Just moving the problem.
That's a really valid concern. And it points to the architecture you need for unification, which brings us to point 2.
Which is?
Go all in on cloud.
All in.
Yes. Dayton specifically warns against half measures here. Trying to keep some systems on-premise while moving others to the cloud, that often creates more fragmentation and complexity.
So pick a lane and stick to it.
Pretty much. A full cloud-native environment is really key to getting the scalability and the streamlined operations you need for high data quality and effective unification.
Okay, so unify and do it using a cloud-native approach. But what about that giant central swamp problem? How do you govern this unified data without making it impossible for teams to actually use it quickly?
Great question. That leads to the third point, adopt federated governance.
Federated governance. What does that mean in practice?
It means you establish clear company-wide standards, rules for quality, security, access, things everyone must follow.
Okay, central rules.
But you grant local teams and people actually using the day-to-day ownership and management control over the data most relevant to their specific jobs.
So you set the universal rules from the center, but you trust the local experts, the end users, to manage the actual content within those rules.
Exactly. It gives you control and consistency without sacrificing the speed and flexibility those local teams need.
And it stops that central data swamp from forming.
Yeah.
Because responsibility is embedded where the data actually gets used.
Precisely. It prevents the bottleneck.
Now, this sounds like a massive effort. Unification, cloud migration, new governance. How do you keep momentum? Jackson stressed tying this back to business value, right? Not just tech metrics.
Absolutely critical. You have to show how it impacts the business. She suggests focusing on actionable metrics.
Like what? Give us examples.
Okay, 3 key ones focused on speed and effectiveness. First, Problem to solution velocity.
Meaning how fast you can use data to solve a problem.
Exactly. How quickly can the organization spot a challenge, get the trusted data it needs, and turn that into a real solution or capitalize on an opportunity? Speed of insight, not just database speed.
Okay, number 2.
Second, cross-functional alignment velocity. Are different departments actually making decisions using the same shared understanding of the data?
So if sales and manufacturing are constantly arguing over inventory numbers.
Your alignment velocity is basically 0. Big red flag.
Got it. And the third?
Third, predictive accuracy. How well is the company actually using its data to anticipate what's coming? Market changes, customer needs.
Okay, so metrics that directly link data quality efforts to business agility and performance.
That's the goal. Prove the ROI in business terms.
And the results can be pretty significant when companies do this.
Definitely. The sources cited CHG Healthcare. They managed to cut duplicate records across their systems by a huge 46% through data mastering efforts.
46%. That's massive cleanup.
Huge. And then there was GEMA, the German music rights organization.
What did they achieve?
They got clear, unified visibility into their assets, which were really decentralized before. The result, a 25% boost in productivity and $1 million in annual cost savings.
Wow. Okay, so the returns are real, they're measurable, and they're significant. Right, let's pivot slightly and talk about the future. Connect this back to those advanced systems we mentioned at the start. Because here's where it gets really interesting.
You mean the link between bad data and artificial intelligence?
Exactly. Everyone's pouring money into AI right now.
Yeah.
How does poor data quality affect that huge investment?
This is maybe the single most important warning sign in all the research we looked at.
Okay.
There's this common myth, or maybe it's a hope, that AI will just magically fix the data mess you already have.
Yeah, you hear that sometimes, let the algorithm sort it out.
Right. But Jennifer Jackson directly tackles this. She says, and I'm quoting loosely here, AI actually amplifies your existing foundation.
Amplifies. Meaning?
Meaning, if your data is low quality and poorly governed, AI doesn't fix it. It just creates inaccurate insights faster.
Oh. That's actually terrifying.
Isn't it? You're spending millions on these incredibly powerful models.
Only to get high speed, high confidence, wrong answers because the input was garbage.
Garbage in, garbage out, but accelerated to the speed of light. That's the danger.
So the takeaway isn't don't use AI.
No, not at all. The takeaway is the critical strategic decision today isn't which fancy AI model to buy. It's getting your data house in order first. Build that strong, unified, well-governed foundation.
And then bring in AI.
Yes, and ideally embed AI into your data mastering and governance processes to help keep the data clean automatically. Don't just bolt AI on at the end to try and make sense of the existing chaos. It has to be foundational.
Okay, fix the foundation first. And crucially, this can't just be some IT project happening in a vacuum, right? Yeah. We need the human element.
Absolutely essential. These data initiatives have to involve the people who actually use the data every single day.
Otherwise, they just won't adopt the new systems, or they'll find workarounds.
Exactly. They'll revert to their old spreadsheets, their comfortable, fragmented ways of working, and you're back to square one.
So data leaders need to shift their focus.
Completely. Jackson suggests they stop asking only, what data do we have? And start asking, is our data organized? Is it governed? And is it actually ready to drive responsible AI and sound business decisions?
And that means talking to people.
Talking to the end users. The employees wrestling with those duplicate records or conflicting reports, ask them, what information do you actually need? And critically, do you trust the data you have access to right now?
Trust and utility, not just volume.
That's what matters. When you empower the employees, when you involve them, that's when you get the genuine cross-functional alignment we talked about earlier.
And you tackle those big hidden costs like resistance to change and low data literacy.
Which are often the ultimate bottlenecks, yeah. You solve the human problem alongside the technical one. #tag outro.
So wrapping this up, what does all this mean for you, our listener? Well, this deep dive really confirms that investing in data quality isn't just about, making operations a bit smoother.
Although that's a nice side effect.
It is. But it's fundamentally about securing your ability to make accurate strategic decisions. Big picture stuff.
And ensuring that all the money you're planning to spend on future tech cloud platforms, AI tools.
That it doesn't just accelerate you towards the wrong answer based on bad information.
Exactly. Which leads us to the final provocative thought we wanted to leave you with today.
Okay, let's hear it.
Given everything we've discussed, especially how AI magnifies both the good and the bad in your data, the decision to invest time, effort, and resources into cleaning your data today is arguably the single most important AI investment you can possibly make right now.
More important than buying the AI itself.
Long before you purchase any new algorithms or models, getting the foundation right is the prerequisite AI investment. This knowledge, this cleanup, it's not optional anymore.
It's the bedrock.
It's the foundational infrastructure. Everything else gets built on top of it.